So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I am a huge fan of your work, and I'm super excited to have you on for my 100th episode. And
Good to
so,
be here.
to start off, can you please explain a little bit about yourself for those who may not know who you are?
Yeah, my name's Dez Duron. I'm from Louisiana. I am a singer-songwriter, actor, singer. And I right now am in a Broadway show called Maybe Happy Ending. I play Gil Brently, who's like a jazz singer, which is really cool because it's the kind of music I want to sing anyways, outside in real life. So I feel really lucky that our show's still going and I love it so much. And I'm really excited to be in Timothy's 100th episode. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. And so, you started singing in church, and that's when you started. And so, how did those early experiences shape your sense of artistry?
Yeah, I think, well, one, it just really provided a space to make mistakes. I would just get up there and give it my all, and I made a lot of mistakes. And I think I was lucky because I was kind of a part of a community that had a lot going on. So they were always needing people to be involved and encouraging youth to be involved. So it was like, I was up on stage singing from a very young age, and it was almost like weekly. And it very much like was a community that was like if you were at a middle school service, then it was middle schoolers singing on stage. If you're at a high school service, it was high schoolers singing on stage. When I was in elementary, even it was elementary kids singing on stage. So it was like a community that really got you involved. And I think that's the biggest thing that that community gave me. I think also I grew up in a like hyper masculine community. So like showing emotion and like getting super involved or like emotionally in like let's say if when we would do like musicals and stuff like that, it was a little harder for me to like access my emotion all the way and like dive all the way in that because it wasn't like respected by the community as much. So that always took way more effort. But like putting your whole self and your whole emotion into like worship was very acceptable. So I think it allowed me a safe space also to connect emotion to art and put it provided a place for me to like make that connection on how to like how do I like pour myself through a song? Like how do I sing from my soul and from my heart? And also just like when I went through puberty, I had a really hard time figuring out my voice because I loved singing before puberty and I was like a
Yeah,
soprano, obviously,
yeah,
and like was singing like Christina Aguilera songs and stuff like that. And but then you hit puberty and my voice dropped so dramatically. I remember I would just get in church, dude, and I would go for gold and I would crash and burn probably every Sunday. Like I had at least one like really big crack. To the point where like later on in life, my brother was like, I would come into church scared and praying for you because I knew you were gonna crack so hard. Like, and I would be like, God, please not this Sunday. So, yeah, I think it was invaluable for my development just to be able to show up and learn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so, as you grew up, you studied at Yale, and ended up in sophomore year, you ended up putting a pause in that to join The Voice. And so, for the 2 years you were at Yale, how did those experiences help shape the person you are today?
It was my first time being away from home. So it was like a really like crazy time where I had to like kind of like learn who I was and kind of experience the world and also just like push through pain of growth. I grew up in a very small community. My high school was 300 people, and I didn't really talk to anyone outside of my high school until my senior year when I started community theater. That was like my first time being like, oh, wow, there are people outside of my little bubble. And so going to Yale, which like one of the things they really try to do is get a very diverse class every class. And that's not just race, that's also like belief systems and where you're from and what your specialties are. So you're surrounded by kids who like have different interests than you, that are from different places, that have different worldviews, different cultures. And it was incredible. I loved it so much. But it also was very jarring in that like no one cared about what I, yeah, like people cared, but they couldn't relate. And so I had to kind of like, it was an interesting thing to kind of be like, okay, I'm kind of on my own out here, which is so cool and beautiful in an adventure sense, but also like, how do I make my own community and how do I develop my own values and how do I develop my own beliefs, everything. So it was really an interesting 2 years. And if music hadn't come and take me away, I would have loved 4 years there. I think it's a magical, magical place.
Yeah, for sure. And so, as mentioned, you ended up leaving to join The Voice. And so, what was your experience like on The Voice, and how did that help you become a better performer?
Performing wise, it was like a boot camp, dude. It was like we had an incredible band that we played with that really helped you develop your ideas. And then we also had a voice coach, and you also had a performance coach, which was really cool. It was these two really cool guys. Um, and they would, Jerry Slaughter and Paul Marenti, and they taught me so much about performing because I think for me it had always been just like music starts and you're gonna yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they taught me the idea of developing a performance and pacing it out and different things that can kind of add to your vocal. And it was amazing just to be able to focus on your craft and focus on performing all day, every day, and then have a space, a high intensity space where
Yeah.
like a lot of people are watching, to like try the things that you were learning every week. And also like to be surrounded by people so professional that just allows you to focus on what you're doing. It's very like Broadway in that way, in that it's like you can just trust everyone. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna do their job and all I have to do is mine. And so that was really freeing too. It was also really nerve-wracking. I think I learned a lot about like not looking at the comment sections, not searching for tweets about yourself, just staying your head down and doing your job. And I think that's really helped me with Broadway too. Like I don't go on Reddit or I don't
Yeah.
go looking what
Because they
people
can
think.
get crazy sometimes. Like,
100%. Yeah. And I think people, yeah, we've all been fans of stuff and, have our opinions and I have my opinions about things, but, that's none of my business. What people think of me is none of my business.
yeah, for sure. And so, as mentioned, you are currently starring in Maybe Happy Ending. And
Yeah.
you are the one cast member that they brought from Atlanta. And so, what was your first reaction when they told you that they wanted you to come with the show to Broadway from Atlanta?
It was crazy. I lost my mind. I mean, I had been a part of the show at that time for 5 years, and it was kind of really uncertain as to whether it was ever going to go to Broadway. But I just knew that I would be going to readings for this for 10 years if I needed to. Like I love this show and every time I get to touch it, I'm excited to do it. But when they said it was going to Broadway, I really lost my mind. The excitement, I can't even explain it. Um, it's just a funny industry we're in that like it's so uncertain.
Mhm.
And I think I am like a bit of a worrier. So I was so worried that I don't think it was until we were 100 shows in that I was like, oh, they're not gonna fire me. Like I remember I was getting ready for Fireflies and I was kind of like nervous and we were 100 shows into our Broadway run and I was like, Dez, you have the job. Like
Yeah,
you've been doing the job. You're on the original Broadway cast recording. Like chill out and do the job. I think just because it's like as an artist in this industry, you're just so used to like not having control and you don't know what's going to happen.
yeah,
So, but when I got that initial call, I just was so excited. I was also just excited that the show was going to get a fair shot,
yeah.
and that people were going to get to experience the show. It was something that I had loved for so many years, and I felt that it really deserved a shot at Broadway. Um, and so whether I was with it or not, I was going to be excited, but the fact that I was with it got me
Yeah.
really excited.
And now it's a Tony-winning Broadway musical.
Right, crazy,
Like, uh,
crazy.
but jumping a little bit back on the timeline of Maybe Happy Ending, what was the audition process like for you personally with the show?
I mean, it was pretty straightforward. I think emotionally, it was pretty intense for me, just because I had been auditioning for musicals for a while. And it they were all kind of like out of my comfort zone, not in a bad way, but like it was like, yeah, sure, like I'll go do this country musical, I'll go do this, I'll go do that. But when this came along, it was just felt so bespoke for me, in a way that I was just like, I should get this. Like this is, you know what I mean? I was just
Yeah.
like, this is what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
If there's no musical, Gil Brently would be one of my heroes. You know what I mean? And so I kind of put an undue pressure on myself and was kind of like, I kind of walked into the audition and I was like, if you don't get this, we should probably go home. Like we should probably move. You know what I mean? Which is so dumb. Like, but I just put that pressure on myself a bit. So when I walked in, dude, I was high octane and probably a little even like ego, kind of like because I was nervous.
Yeah.
But we had a great time in the room and everybody was so kind and I had a good time. I was nervous the whole time. I honestly thought I didn't know if it went well or not. I knew I sang in a way that I wanted to, but I could not tell if they liked it or not. And so when I got the call that I got it, I was just elated. I can't even tell you, man. It was a great feeling that I was going to get to sing stuff I like. I
Yeah.
hadn't even heard the songs at that point, but I was just like, at least I know it's going to be in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. And the good thing about Gil Bentley is he's like a perfect princess track too. Like
Yeah,
you get to sing some great like jazzy songs, come on for like some of the good like the better scenes, and then you're done. So
100%.
and you have some like good outfits too, like throughout the show. You have like the good
The best.
classical, yeah.
The best, man. It was my first time. I need to learn the name of the place it's so dumb, but it was my first time going to a place and like putting on the garment and he like did the chalk and
Yeah.
like kind of like made everything right and he was like one of your shoulders is higher than the other. We're gonna put a pad under here. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." And so that was a fun part of the process, like going into the store and there's all the fabrics and
Yeah.
I've never gotten to do that. So it was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And so, talking about Gil Bentley as a character, is there any scene that you look forward to performing each night that you are in?
It's a great question. I mean, 500 shows in, I think it changes on different nights. I come into the theater sometimes going like, oh, I can't wait to get to Ginny tonight because I feel like a lot of energy and I can't wait for that fun
And it's such a
time.
fun, like, poppy
Oh,
song, too.
so fun. And they gave me so much freedom to just kind of like run around stage and be a little crazy. So that's a fun number. And then there are other times where I'm like, I cannot wait for a sentimental person. I'm feeling like so much and I just want to like express that through that song. And so it changes throughout the night. I think right now I am really loving just Why Love, you know?
Yeah.
It's fun to open the
It,
number with
it's a good
that
opening
funny
number.
music.
It, like, sets the tone
Yeah,
of the show. It's, like, a nice, smooth into the show. So,
100%. And I kind of like have imagined that as like Gil's hit that kind of put him on the map.
yeah.
So when I like go up the elevator, it's fun as someone who I want to start putting out music myself. And so it's fun to imagine like being in the studio and being excited about a song that you've written called Why Love and like not knowing that it's gonna like be a big hit. You know what I mean? Like, and
And
it's
the
like
lyrics to that song are so beautiful, too.
beautiful, man. They're
Like if
really
when you actually listen to the lyrics, you're like, this is a really nice song.
right. Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. It's
that's a
like
song that you
it's
could really just like
melancholy.
you could imagine hearing it on the radio on like a rainy day or whatever. Like
100%. Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's like the best part about this show is like I would listen to these songs. If I
yeah,
wasn't singing them, like I would wear this soundtrack out. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and like
fun.
that like those songs are like when I listen to the soundtrack and the copies I have the CD, it's like these songs are the ones that you're like even if you're not a fan of the show, it's like it fits any like personality and like it just sounds like a
Yeah.
regular song. Like you if you didn't know it was part of maybe a happy ending, it's a song.
It really is. And that's kind of always been my favorite musical songs. Like I love Stephen Schwartz because so many of his songs you would just listen to if it wasn't part of a musical. You're just like, this is a jam. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, even some of his stuff, like a lot of the Pippin songs were covered by like Motown artists. Like, I love songs that can just stand alone. And so it's cool to be a part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so, talking about your musical journey outside of theater, your vocal style has been talked about a bunch among others, and so who are some of your biggest musical influences, and how do they influence your performances?
Yeah, I mean, the first influence of my life was my mom. She's an incredible singer. She kind of has like a Barbara Streisand type tone, and she toured singing and lived in LA for a while, was a singer out there. And then I have an uncle, my god uncle, his name's Teddy Grover. He's a gospel singer, and he really like taught me to sing, him and my mom, and just introduced me to so many gospel singers that were just incredible. And again, just kind of taught me, I really fell in love with the emotion of it all. And then also just the skill set is just incredible. Like the way gospel singers sings, they're the greatest singers in the world. And then I discovered Michael Bublé
He's
discovered.
amazing.
That's such the wrong word. I finally found him so late, but and really fell in love with his "It's Time" album and just listened to it nonstop, which then kind of got me going. Like, is there more music like this? And of course, like so much. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Nat King Cole, Mel Torme, Chet Baker, all
Yeah.
Julie London, Ella Fitzgerald, Nancy Wilson, like all these people that I love so much, and such incredible songs, such incredible voices, and all of them kind of like so distinct and different. And I think the more you listen to them, it's funny because like at stage door, people would be like, "You sound like Michael
Yeah.
Bublé," or "You sound like Frank Sinatra," and I'm like, I don't know if I actually do, but I think like someone who's not familiar with the genre, all those people sound alike. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
Who
I
knows?
kind
Maybe
of,
you're secretly Michael Bublé. Who knows?
yeah, maybe, who
I
knows?
mean, I've never seen you guys in the same room together, so like it's on the table.
I'm not gonna argue with you. But yeah, all those voices really have influenced. I mean, I think Frank Sinatra would be like my main guy just because I think when heard him sing, I felt a lot of the same things I feel when I hear gospel music, which is just like emotional storytelling. And he's just a really great storyteller. And I don't know if we're similar at all, like tonally, but he's someone I definitely look up to. And then Nat King Cole, I love his tone and his phrasing. It's so rich and wide and just like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
his tone is the best. And then I love like Mel Torme's phrasing and Michael Bublé's phrasing too. It's like real buttery and light and just really good. And then I love Chet Baker because he's emo and has great just he's always right in the middle of the note and he's just right here and soft and it's not overpowering and it's effective. Yeah, so those are like my guy heroes.
Yeah, for sure. And so, you perform both on stage and in the studio with your own music. Do you have any differences that you have found about connecting with an audience as a concert artist versus as a character within a musical?
100%. I think uh in a concert artist it's a little more free. You don't really know how the night's gonna go. As far as just like you have like a plan and a song, you want everyone to have a good time, but that's a little bit more general than like maybe a Broadway show where you are presenting something with like a desired emotional reaction. Um, and so I think in a Broadway show, you are trying to serve the piece in a way that is like, I'm not trying to like outshine anything or anybody. I'm not trying to like steal extra stage time or like anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, um, I'm trying to hit my mark and make sure that the story is told in a way that is so that's accurate and in the way that the writers and the director intended. Which is awesome. I love being a part of a team in that way. It's just so freeing and I'm proud of this part and this show, so that makes that job easy. When I'm on stage for my own shows, there's a chaotic nature that I love, and I love to just say whatever comes to my
Yeah.
mind, and I enjoy the reaction of the audience and and just taking it wherever it needs to go. Um, and just picking whatever songs I want is
Yeah.
really fun. There's so many songs I love, so getting to like mark off songs from my bucket list is
Yeah.
really fun. Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about like being a part of a team, maybe happy ending is like with it being a smaller cast and even everyone backstage, it's like you have more time to connect with everyone on a more personal level. And like
Yeah.
I can only imagine that's like such a beautiful thing to do, especially with a show like this. That's such a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah, we're really lucky because we have such a great crew. I don't think there's one person that's intolerable in the building. Like everyone is really lovely. I'm really excited to see each person in our building, and I know that's really rare, or at least that's what I'm told. This is my first Broadway show. So everyone's always like, this is not a normal experience that we're having. And so I think also we were part of just this little show that no one knew about and that no one really cared about at the
Yeah.
beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like our baby, and we didn't know if we were going to make it. So that kind of bonded us in a way that was really cool, where we all loved this thing so much. We were all so protective of it, and we were all so committed to making sure that it was as great as it could possibly be. And we kind of got to a place where we were like, I don't care what anyone thinks of this. Like, I think it's amazing. Like, we think it's amazing and we love it. And that kind of bonded us as we went into opening, like, I hope other people like it too. Like, and then as things started to take off, like, we already had that team kind of mentality and like family mentality of like this is our thing. Like we believed in it first, and now we get to welcome more people into the family and more people into the team. But I just think it was really beautiful that I'm sure there are wonderful perks about being a part of a huge piece of intellectual property that
Yeah.
is going to be a huge smash. But it was really wonderful to be a part of something that was so new and to just go like, I'm gonna invest my life into this
Yeah.
and hope that it goes well. And then it does. Like, what a dream. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so, looking back on your journey as a performer overall, is there any moment that you really realize you're in the right spot of where you want to be?
Um, that's a great question, man. I I think I just feel really lucky to be where I want to be. I know there's a lot of hardworking people in this world and talented people, and um that are putting in the same hours as me. And I'm just really grateful that there was a piece that matched my skill set, that wanted me to be a part of it, that I was in New York at the right time for. Um, and yeah, I feel really blessed and lucky every day that I get to do what I love. And yeah, I think there is a little bit of like, I made the right decision. Like, this is what I was supposed to do on some level. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there
for
it,
sure.
it does definitely give some vindication to like I mean, I dropped out of school. I dropped out of Yale for this, to do this for a living. And I made a lot of other huge decisions and life decisions to pursue this. So for it to have, you know, the wonderful moments that have happened over the last year and a half to have happened, like it does give some meaning and purpose and vindication and like oh yeah, I was supposed to do this. So yeah, it is nice in that way.
Yeah, for sure. And so, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I think I would tell myself to like not be so careful, to like dive into projects and try things and fail. Because I think I look back and I like, for some reason, felt like maybe you only get one shot at things, when in reality, I probably could have failed at a lot of things and have learned a lot of lessons and still like had time to do everything I've done. I'm really happy with like my life and like yeah, but I don't have like any huge regrets. But I think when I look back, it's like, yeah, I could have tried this. I could have tried that. I could have, you know what I mean? Like I could have failed a lot more. And instead I just didn't even try. And I think I'm really inspired by Broadway in that sense, in that like people have huge ideas and wonderful, they start writing these musicals and they work on them for years and they either make it or they don't. And then you move on to the next one. And it's like a beautiful labor of love that like you really have to believe in yourself and love what you're doing. Yeah, I'd probably just tell myself to like go try stuff, like fall on your face, which I did, but like I just think I could have gotten crazier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so this next question kind of ties into the last one, but what advice would you give to younger performers who want to pursue this professionally?
Yeah, young performers that want to pursue this professionally, I would say do everything you can. Join the musical, join the choir, join the singing team, start a band. You know what I mean? Like sing at a nursing home, sing at church, get your reps. You know what I mean? Just go all out. Um, there's so much advice I would give to young singers that I feel like I've looked at, I've had a wonderful blessing to be surrounded by really great singers, and I feel like there's a lot of things they all have in common when it comes to like development. And I think they all, one, did it a lot, whether it's in their room or it's in out on stage. They like, we're just doing it. You need to go do it. Like go sing, go perform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then secondly, like study. And that sounds like such a terrible word, but it's not. It's just get obsessive. Um, learn your favorite singer songs front to back. Every line, every riff, every note. Sing it exactly like them. And then pick a different favorite singer and learn their songs. And then pick a different singer and learn their songs. And then as you expand your list of heroes, and then it comes through your unique instrument, it's going to sound unique to you. You're going to find your sound, but you're also going to have knowledge as to why they sang that this way. You're also going to have a huge toolkit of things that you can pull out, whether that be tricks or riffs or different things that you learned just by trying to copy this song. And so a lot of times we're like, you gotta do this. And we think like scales, boring, you know what I mean? Or like this, that doesn't sound fun. No, pick something and get obsessed about it. Get excited. Like for me, it was like a few albums that I was really obsessed with. Michael Bublé's It's Time, Kiki Sheard's album. It was her first album. I forgot what it's called. Brandy's Full Moon. Anything by Whitney Houston. Celine Dion stuff I was really obsessed with. And then it ended up being Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole. And it's like, uh, just learning just getting obsessed about it and learning it and then trying to do it yourself. I think you just,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll find your sound, you'll find your skill will grow, you'll have knowledge that you need to know. You know what I mean? So, yeah, get excited. Be a fan. Being a fan will, being a fan will make you want to learn and get better. And it will keep your love alive for this. If you cannot be a hater and you can find things you really like, it's so easy to find things you don't like. That's like the name of it. Everyone does it. Find things you love and get excited about it and then get curious about it. Yeah, that was a lot.
No, that's good advice. And that actually wraps up the interview today. I'd like to thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thank you,
Yeah, of
Timothy.
course.